I'd like to tell you a parable. This is the parable of the pandas and the rabbits. Now, there's a reason I'm telling you this is a parable. It'll become apparent soon. One day, a wise king had 2 sons, and he gave to each of his sons a gift. To his older son, he gave pandas. To his younger son, he gave rabbits. He gave 2 pandas to his older son and 2 rabbits to his younger son. And he went away. Years later, he returned to find that his older son had got 10 pandas. And he was a little disappointed with his older son. And he said, "Son, I gave you 2 pandas, and you now only have 10 pandas. That's not very good." And the son said, "Yes, but father, these pandas breed slowly." And the father turned to his younger son, and his younger son was overrun with rabbits, hundreds of thousands of rabbits. And he was pleased with his younger son. And he said, "Younger son, you've done well. How did you manage it?" And the younger son said, "Well, the rabbits breed quickly." Well, okay, let's change the terms of this parable. The reason I'm telling you the parable is that it comes from something called the parable of the minas, told by St. Matthew, the evangelist Matthew, in the Bible. You don't need to know that, but it's about the increase of wealth. And the Matthew's effect, as we call it, is sometimes known as the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. Well, imagine that these weren't pandas and rabbits. Imagine that this was knowledge that you could gain. Those people who read slowly effectively have the pandas. Pandas breed very, very slowly. Rabbits breed very, very quickly. If you begin as a young child as a slow reader and slow learner, if you have poor working memory, so you have poor recall, if you have a slow reading speed, if you have phonological difficulties, you will find that it takes you a long time to get one piece of information. And that one piece of information can maybe lead to one more piece of information. And that one more piece of information will eventually lead to one more piece of information. If you're a fast reader, you have the rabbits. If you're a fast reader, you'll find that in the same period of time as the slow reader gets one piece of information, you get 3 pieces of information. And as the slow reader then gets one more piece of information, you get 3 pieces of information from each of these pieces of information. And so your information starts to increase exponentially. And the more information you find, the more interest you have, the more you can focus your mind, the broader your base of knowledge is. And so when you start off reading quickly or reading more fluently or reading more proficiently, you'll find that in a very short period of time, your amount of knowledge has increased exponentially. Whereas the amount of knowledge from the slow reader has increased a lot slower, and the gap widens. Relatively, the gap between the fast reader and the slow reader widens enormously. This is called the Matthew's effect. As teachers, we need to realize that the last thing we need to be doing is teaching using lots and lots of text, expecting people to read a lot, write a lot, copy a lot. This is a really poor way of expecting people with dyslexia to learn. As business people, we start to realize that all these emails we send, they're not always necessary. I know it's easy to send emails and it's easy to CC everybody into an email, but a lot of the time people won't be getting the information out of them that you want them to. So reduce the text. It's very, very simple indeed. If you don't, the Matthew's effect will almost certainly kick in. And those people who can read, those people with a proficient fluency of reading, they will get more and more information and their knowledge base will spread. Those people who struggle to get information through reading, they will relatively become poorer and poorer and poorer. And the king won't be happy with them at all.